Hello, everyone. My name is Morgan Dixon, and this is Vanessa Garrison. We're the co-founders of Girl Trek, and we didn't want to do business as usual because of what happened in our country this weekend. So we wanted to start with a moment of silence, and if you would join us. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Morgan. Thank you for that. For those of you who are just tuning in to Girl Trek TV for the first time, maybe you're just learning about the movement. Girl Trek, this is what we are about. What happened this weekend in this country, which unfortunately is becoming par for the course, is the reason that Girl Trek exists. Black women are dying at higher and faster rates. And when people ask us, why are Black women dying? Why is Girl Trek a solution? Why Summer of Self-Care, the challenge that we're doing right now? This is why. These headlines, what we see, what we know, what we feel in our bones, and what we experience, which is that Black and brown people in this country feel terrorized. And we are being terrorized in lots of ways. And what happened in Walmart in El Paso and what happened in Ohio and the discord that the country is experiencing and the hate speech that is running rampant on social media, it is impacting our ability and has been impacting our ability for generations to live in the fullness of ourselves and our bodies and our lives. And so I just want to welcome everyone. We've had 10,000 new women join the movement in the last 2 weeks. I want to welcome those women. I want to welcome the 200,000 women who already are a part of this movement to this conversation today, where we're going to laugh a little, where we're going to celebrate what's happening in the movement, where we're going to talk about what Girl Trek looks like across the country. And even if just for these 15 minutes, you have a moment of respite, you have a moment where you don't have to be overwhelmed by this sense of like doom and gloom, where we have instilled in you some hope and positivity, for me, that will be a victory for us for today.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for saying that. That was great, Vanessa. I appreciate it. And also, this is why we organize. We organize so we stay ready, so we don't got to get ready. We organize so we can be strong in the streets when the streets need us.
Yeah.
We organize so that we can protect our babies and we can protect our families, and we can do that in a way that brings forth love and joy, and healing and acceptance, that we can have resilience in our lives so that we can, even when in the face of hate, we can extend this kind of abundant love that is so much more powerful. And that takes work, because trust you me, it's so easy to hate. It's
It
so
is.
easy to hate, but to rise above it is really why I personally do the work. So I'm glad it's Summer of Self-Care. I'm glad that the acronym is SOS, because it feels like an SOS out here right now, that we don't swallow the rage. So don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't do it. Yeah.
So
Some
that's
of
it.
you are in the
Yeah.
comments right now, and you're saying that, this week you're feeling like you want to do a prayer trek, or this week you're feeling like you want to definitely organize with your team. Look, that is what Girl Trek is at its core. Every single day, Girl Trek is what it needs to be. Some days it's joy and celebration. Some days it's a prayer trek. The great thing is that the movement is not ours. It's not Morganized. You don't have to wait for us for direction or directive. When you see the shocking headlines, when you see the Wall Street Journal talking about, terrorism, when you see it on the LA Times and people are putting words to what you are feeling, and you are feeling like, how do I act? How do I respond to this? Organize. Like, put your blue shirt on and go for a walk alone. Organize your friends and family. If you want to do a prayer trek, do a prayer trek. Trust me, we wrestle not against flesh and blood right now, and we recognize that. So in whatever ways you want to organize and represent for this movement, we welcome it, we encourage it, we cheerlead for it. And if you're new to this movement, that is what this movement is. So wherever you are all across the country, walk, organize, do it in the name of Girl Trek, and lean on your sisters for support right now. And trust and know that, as bleak as it might look right now, as overwhelming as it might feel, is something we say in Girl Trek all the time, which is, this ain't nothing. It's nothing. It's nothing compared to the road that we have traveled. And we have
Yeah.
every single thing that we need. I actually think, Morgan, the
I will say this though, Vanessa, like when I think about what's happening now, I think, I used to be a history teacher. I think about like what happened in the summer of 1919, which was the Red Summer of Hate, and all these different historic moments where violence was happening, and you wonder what was my grandmother doing then, or what were the people doing then, and why didn't people stand up for it? I feel like we are in one of those moments. You and I have talked about that. We're in one of these moments, and so part of what standing up looks like is not being afraid anymore and not cowering in this way. I'm not advocating for any, I don't believe in violence. What I'm advocating for is showing up and not shutting down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like,
No,
I
do
thought
know.
maybe that, I thought
It's
maybe that this, I thought maybe the week's theme, which I'll reveal it ahead of time, it's Sizzle, right? And I thought maybe the week's theme was inappropriate for this week because, you think of Sizzle, you think of all things sexy. But when I think of Sizzle, I think what lights your fire? Like what fire can you keep burning? Yeah, that it can be sexy for sure, but what like makes you radiant? And like the moment that you start to shut down because you're afraid or you're disgusted or you're enraged is the moment actually that terrorism begins to work, right? But the moment you stay lit up, like Fannie Lou Hamer, this little light of mine, the moment you start to kindle your own sizzle in your life is really, I feel like, the most radical thing we can do. So when people ask us all the time, how can you be joyful in times that are so harsh? How can you still advocate for walking in the streets with bright, colorful blue shirts on? Because that's the most radical thing we can do is say, hell no. We're not going in the house. We're not going to be afraid. We're going to be fearless and we're going to be joyful because that is what's revolutionary.
it
And
is.
that to me, I mean, it feels real.
It
Yeah.
is. I will also say, and we can then move on to Organizer Week. One of the things that I think is most revolutionary about Girl Trek, and it's been on my heart, especially knowing that in El Paso, the gunmen specifically targeted Mexican Americans. And I was thinking, those gunmen, that gunman must not understand even the rich history of Mexican Americans or Mexicans in their own country. And I saw this really great photo of this Black woman and this Mexican woman together as a drawing, and it was saying stronger together. And when I saw that, what I was thinking is our ancestors, like our collective ancestors, our traditions, our history, our culture, the way in which all of the things, the way in which we mourn, the way in which we celebrate, like those are things that cannot be snatched from the jaws of us. They cannot be taken away. And I say that to all of the people in this country who are kind of finding that balance between, your motherland, your homeland, your all of the things you practice inside your home, and then this kind of American face that we have and United Front when we walk outside of our front doors. Like, we better bring some of what we do in our homes out onto the streets. Like the way that we
Yeah.
lean in inside of our homes, the way that we lean down on our cultural legacy and traditions, whether you are Black, whether you're Mexican, Indian, Asian, Pacific Islander, from the continent, wherever you are from, like this country needs all of that. Like we are such a
Yeah.
young country and we need to bring forth more of that, not suppress it. So it's one of the
Yeah.
beautiful things about Girl Trek. I know actually if we pull
Vanessa,
up,
before we move on, though,
yeah,
I was thinking about this. As soon as I read the headlines, I'm in Africa. I read Revolutionary Dreams to someone here, and do you remember it? Because
look,
it's
I
actually
used
why
to
we started
dream
Girl Trek.
militant dreams of taking over America to show these white folks how it should be done. I used to dream radical dreams of blowing everyone away with my perceptive powers of correct analysis. I used to dream that I'd be the one to negotiate the violence and stop the peace. And then I awoke and dug that if I dreamed natural dreams of being a natural woman, doing what a woman does when she is natural, I would have a revolution. It's Nikki Giovanni. It is, those are like words to live by. And I would say if you are out there listening and you don't have a manifesto like I have, if you don't have words that you could chant to yourself when things get low, a song that you've seen, something that you lean on, then you need one of those things as well, because that's really what that is for me.
So let's move. Thank you for that, Vanessa.
Yeah.
I got chills again, and I remember we used to say that way back in the day. It felt really, really appropriate. Let's move on to photo of the week. So our photo of the week is actually appropriate. I saw this picture and I was like, this could be any organizer right here. And this is when we went to Selma for the 50th anniversary and we started naming our foremothers on the back of our shirts, right? Nzinga, Harriet, Sojourner, Ida, Septima, Fannie Lou Hamer, all the way down to Michelle Obama and us, right? all the way down, naming our foremothers. And we know that you all are walking in the footsteps of these women where you are demanding the right to live, breathe, and experience joy in your neighborhoods, right? So then we were like, who is this? And we were like, we got to give her an award. It's Gloria. Look, let me show you a picture of Gloria. So
Yes.
Gloria Dorfield Mitchell is out of Detroit. And Gloria been keeping it real from day one. She's an original girl trekker, whether she has two people, whether she by herself on her bike in a motorcycle
She's
gang,
fly.
which is really a
I
bicycle.
love
She is
Gloria.
so fly.
Yes,
I
she's
know.
so fly.
Her wig game be strong. I'll be like, where did you get that one? And she leads a team called the Indigo Girls of Detroit. Gloria is a breast cancer survivor. She just lost her husband, and she had to make a decision if she was going to fall further asleep or wake up. And she said, I'm getting out in them streets. I'm getting out in them streets. All the odds are stacked against me. And the joy that she lives her life, it just inspires me, Gloria. So thank you, thank you. We want to give
Morgan,
you an award.
in honor of Gloria, can we, this is live, I haven't even asked you, I don't even know if I got to ask you, but it's because it's going to happen. We are going to bring back those shirts, Nzinga, Harriet, Fanny, Sojourner. Let's bring them back. We will bring them back. I promise you they will be in the store next week.
Good. That's
next
good.
week,
That's good.
we will bring them back so that all of the women in the movement can actually walk and wear those shirts. So stay tuned for that. Gloria, you're going to get a $100 gift card to the Girl Trek store. Thank you for being such a dedicated organizer. Shout out to all of the women in Detroit. So Morgan, I think we're about the business of this broadcast now, right?
Yeah, we are. So next up, we have actually a new organizer who came on and really inspired us. Can you bring her picture up? And she gave us a testimony. And what did she say, Vanessa?
So she's one of the new 10,000 women who've joined the movement, Zola Shabazz from Philadelphia. And she posted on Girl Trek's organizer page, which is on Facebook. It's a great resource. And she simply asked, she said, hey, I'm going to start organizing walks with Girl Trek. Does anyone have any tips for how to invite women to come out? And I love this question because this is what Girl Trek is. Zola is like, I'm about to start inviting some women. Do you have tips for me? And actually, I have a first tip for her, Morgan, which is this. Choose a time and a location that works for you, Zola, and then invite women out to walk. Do not try to coordinate schedules. Don't try to drive across town. Girl Trek is local and is best when it's local and in place and convenient for you as an organizer. So that would be my tip. Do you have a tip for her, Morgan?
I do. The Bible says where 2 or 3 are gathered. Think about Girl Trek in that local terms. If you can get one other person, and you're doing good if you can get a third person, and make that be your trust tribe where you show up same time, same place every day. If anybody has tips, we have tons of organizers out there. Please put them in the comments for Zola, and we'll read a few at the end of this broadcast, but we're going to keep it moving. So next up, I think we have last week's winner with us. So if you don't know what we're talking about, Summer of Self-Care is just a fascinating contest. You walk 5 days a week. You go to summerofselfcare.org, and you tell us that you walk 5 days a week. If you walk 5 days a week, you qualify to win $1,000 that you must spend in 7 days on your own self-care. So last week we had a winner, and she got the $1,000, and we got to figure out what she spent it on.
Let's bring her on. There's Keisha.
Keisha.
Hey,
Hi,
Keisha.
Congratulations.
Thank
First of all,
you.
Keisha is a principal. I think, are you in Philly?
I am.
Yeah.
I'm at Martin Luther King High School in Philadelphia, the
that
proud
sounds
principal
extra.
of the Martin Luther King High School in Philadelphia, actually the first of its name in kind
Listen,
in the nation.
That's the blackest high school in the country.
Yes, it is. Oh, all the way.
Listen,
Keisha, can you tell us how you learned about Girl Trek and how you started walking with Summer of Self-Care? Can you tell all the women out there who are sitting on the sidelines so that they can get in the game next week?
Yes, an awesome ambassador by the name of Lee Scott Lord actually tagged me in her post when you guys came up and, asked us to get some accountability partners. She tagged me. I immediately turned around and started tagging some of my other sisters in Philadelphia. And it was just like on and popping from there. That's the short version of it. But Lee is awesome. She leads amazing stuff.
Tell us how you felt after you walked the 5 days that week and then submitted your walks on the Summer of Self-Care and were entered to win the $1,000. What did you feel like?
I felt amazing. I think that, not only just outside of me being a principal, I'm a full-time mother and wife and, our responsibilities don't always afford us self-care, or we see doing for others as self-care. So having those strict 5 days that I knew I was going to walk, no excuses, no this or that, pulling my kids along, talking on the phone while I'm walking, whatever it is that I was going to do. I knew that I was going to meet that goal, not just because of the money. I mean, that's definitely something that'll get people out and moving. Thank you. But it's more, it's more so about actually taking that time for yourself, and also remembering that sometimes it has to, self-care is just about you too, because sometimes you're surrounded with people all the time, and you have to step aside from that and be able to just speak to yourself in your head. And you talked about Nikki Giovanni's radical dreams, and just whatever mantra. And for me, it's Psalm 91, knowing that I'm protected, and that it's by the Most High. So that, I think, was the biggest thing for me. Like, you got to get out there, you got to do it, period.
So Keisha, everybody's waiting to know, what did you do with $1,000? It's our last question. What did you do?
So you know what? Self-care is different for everybody. For me, it was paying bills. Let me tell you something.
Yes.
So my summers, it seems like I'm always broke in the summer. And it's because you're going places, you're doing things. And so to me, it was amazing to not sit and look at my planner for this week, because the only thing in this specific planner are bills. So I was able to pay all of them in advance of paycheck on Friday. And can you see my nails? So these monsters right here, I went to a new nail shop. I decided I was going to kind of pamper myself this week because I had some extra dividends. Thank you again for that. And, I went to kind of like a bougie salon. You had to tell them what you wanted in advance, and you paid for the extras. They even charged me $15 to shake my nails. So when I got to the counter and the young lady said $100, I almost fell out. I was like, $100? This is digging into your tip money, but okay. So I actually, but I did tip her. I did tip. So I actually ended up spending $110 on these nails, but they are lovely. They have some chrome, and these are Swarovski jewels on here. You see that?
Oh my God!
Cost me $25 for these babies here.
All of the women get jealous out there. Look, if you are jealous right now of Keisha's nails, of the fact she paid her bills, and you are like, how do I get in on that? Let me tell you really quickly. And Keisha, we're going to tell everyone what the assignment is for this week. So all you have to do is follow this week's assignment. Just like Morgan revealed earlier, the assignment is Sizzle. Thou shalt forever be a hot girl. Tag Megan, tell her wear a Girl Trek shirt. Thou shalt forever be a hot girl. We have 5 inspiring walks that you can do. Every single day you need to walk. You have 5 days this week. So there's 7 days in the week. You need to walk 5 days. At the end of the day, you go on summerofselfcare.com and you report that you walked. It's really simple and fast. And then at the end of the week, on Sunday at midnight, all of the submissions are in, and we will actually then draw randomly a drawer, and you could be on next Monday to get your $1,000. So Keisha, thank you so much for the inspiration. Thank you so much for walking, for joining the movement. Thank you to the sister who tagged you.
Yes, Lee, thank you.
If you're out there, do like that sister did for Keisha. Tag all your friends. Tell them that they
need to walk. This could be your friend who wins $1,000 next week. And speaking of the winner, let's go to the winner. This week's winner, the woman who walked 5 days, who logged it, who told us over 3,000 of you guys qualified, and the winner is
Ella Godfrey of Elizabeth City.
Hey, Ella. We can't wait to talk to you next week. So listen, everybody, we love you. We are praying with you. We are walking with you, and we are organizing with you. 1 million Black women walking with Girl Trek by 2020. That's the goal, all right? We need your help out there to do it, because let's walk like our lives depend on it. All right? We love you.
All right. We love you. See you next Monday.